Good evening, everyone. Happy New Year. I want to welcome you to the Emergency Service Council meeting, January 19th, 2017. I want to ask if I can get a roll call, please. When we say the roll call, I just want you to, for the public, to tell me what city you're from. So if we can do that just this meeting, that'd be great.
Atherton. Belmont. Present. Brisbane. Burlingame.
Present, Emily Beach.
Colma. Daly City. East Palo Alto. Foster City. Half Moon Bay.
Present, Deborah Penrose.
Hillsborough. Menlo Park.
Present, Peter Otaki.
Milbrae.
Present, Ann Schneider.
Pacifica. Portola Valley.
Present, John Richards.
Redwood City.
Ian Bain, longest serving member, except maybe Sue.
San Bruno.
Present, Rico Medina.
San Carlos. San Mateo. South San Francisco.
Present, Mark Adiego.
Woodside. The County of San Mateo.
David Canepa here. Thank you very much. Let's move to item 2. It's the approval of minutes from September 15th, 2016. I think there are two members who want to make some changes to the minutes. Councilmember Medina?
Thank you. This is just to reflect that I was an excused member on that evening, and staff is aware would make that change to be reflected in the next minutes with the approval of the council.
Ms. Schneider?
In the minutes under the description of the Big Five event, there were two CERT teams that were left off the minutes that were reported. And it was Milbrae CERT and I believe Belmont CERT were both there.
Hearing that and those changes, can I get a motion to approve the minutes from September 15th, 2016?
So move.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Great, thank you very much. Moving on to...
Chair?
Yes,
Burlingame abstains.
Burlingame abstains.
Thank
Thank you. Okay, so if we can note that Burlingame and Pacifica abstain. Thank you, Ms. Beach. Item number 3, operational area report. Good evening, Lieutenant Fogarty.
Good evening. Thank you very much. I believe all of you have attachment A that is attached to your packet. If you don't, please let me know. We'll make sure to get that to you. I think the most significant thing of note is underneath San Mateo County alerts and the TENS notification system, we actually increased the number of messaging that we sent to our communities, went from 71 to 119. I think a vast majority of that has been through the good work by everyone that we can get to get involved to spread the word about SMC Alert, and I encourage all of you to do that as well. We've actually grown the system by about 11,000 users in the last 6 months. I think that's very important to note, and that's the reason why I think you see a more robust messaging system and more people getting those alerts.
Great, thank you, Lieutenant Fogarty. That moves us to old business, and it's the Skylon Radio Tower construction update. Mr. Myers. Good evening, Mr. Myers.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for inviting me again. For a project that some of you may not know started back about 16 years ago originally, we are finally making considerable velocity on this project. Notwithstanding the rain delays that we're dealing with at the moment, we have our contractor on the ground drilling the tower foundation for the tower and the shelters. As soon as this rain ends, we'll get those finished. We'll pour our foundations. We'll set our tower, which looks like a monopine, and our shelter. We'll get PG&E electrical connected up, and we'll be ready to then have our radio shop move the equipment out of the old shelter into the new shelter, fire it up, test it, and then once that's completed and we're certain that everything's copacetic, we will arrange for the contractor to come back and demolish the existing site. And then at that point, the last remaining part that happens in our part of the world there's a bunch of landscaping, trees, bushes, and things that needs to go in. But after a very long, protracted process, we have all our permits, we're on the ground, we're doing work, and things are looking good. My expectation is that even with the current rain delays, I'm hoping that we'll have the new site constructed and ready for our radio department by June. They'll need a month or two to move everything over and make sure it's all working well, and then be able to easily complete the demolition of the old site before the end of the calendar year, or well before the end of the calendar year. And that is in keeping with North Star, who owns Skylon, their wishes. So they're happy with the progress we're making. They're working closely with us, and everything, for as far as we know, is going well. Any questions?
Yes. How long will the testing itself take?
Well, the actual cutover and testing is probably less than a day. There's a lot of prep for that. We're putting in all new antennas and cabling and infrastructure and power. All of that testing will happen before we actually do the cutover, and that we'll do with the minimalist amount of time of downtime. And that downtime will be communicated to all the agencies and know exactly. We have a special line being put in for one of our agencies to make sure that they can keep their dispatch world up in between in that window. But it's the actual outage time is, I'm expecting a couple of hours. And we'll have a large crew of folks when we pull the switch. All we have to move is the actual radio components from one building 60 feet to the other building, plug them in, and we are expecting them to come up with no problem at all.
Great. Ms. Beach?
Thank you, Supervisor Canepa. Sounds like good progress, and I did read the meeting minutes from September, and this letter, and I regret that I wasn't at the September meeting. Perhaps this backstory came up, but I feel like for public benefit and for my own, can you understand that this small movement, 60 to, it says 100 feet at the request of the property owner, can you provide the backstory why 100 feet matters and what the reasoning was to start this project?
So Skylon had a previous owner. We were at Skylon for 20 some odd more than maybe years, essentially rent-free at our existing site where we're still transmitting from, a symbiotic relationship with them. When North Star purchased the Skylon property, they made a decision to build out, as they call it, the slope where our current shelter is, which sits along with side Verizon and some AT&T equipment. So we made a lot of effort to, one, convince them to just plot around us. They didn't want to do that. We spent a lot of time and energy, money about 3-4 years ago to find an alternative site, which we could not find one that could provide the coverage area that this site provides. It's an excellent site for what we're trying to do up in that area. So push comes to shove. They didn't want, for some reason, North Star did not want the county to be on the same plot of land that Verizon and AT&T were moving to. There are some technical reasons, but we're not sure that we couldn't have worked some of those out. Ultimately, AT&T backed out of the deal, and now it's Verizon and the county. And along the way, they wanted to split us and put our shelter on one side of the road and our tower on the other. We had to deal with that. We finally got them to agree to put our shelter and tower next to each other, but it's now on a slope. So that increased our costs some. So they've been fair and reasonable with us, but they've been adamant that they wanted us off the hill, off the upper hill. They wanted us down at the lower hill so they could utilize their land as they want to use it. So we've moved about 62 feet.
Okay. That's the heart of it. They're using the lawn, just to clarify, for cemetery plots,
Correct.
and they need to use that for their business. Okay, that was question number one. And thank you for clarifying that backstory. The second one, it looked like in September there was a discussion of budget and like a shared budget. Is that $850,000 is that county money, or is that shared among the remaining partner, who is, I guess, Verizon still? Or is that just the county share of the budget?
The
to do this?
850 is our share. It's the cost to do this entire move and demolition and all of that. And that budget, from my perspective, is more than enough to finish this project. We have no expectation to come back and ask the board for any additional funds to finish this project.
Okay, thank you for that backstory.
Great. Thank you so much, Mr. Myers. Okay, really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on, hazard mitigation plan, Mr. Hartzell, Mr. Spencer. Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Brad Hartzell. I'm a battalion chief of the North County Fire Authority, serving the communities of Brisbane, Daly City, and Pacifica. My current role is the fire liaison through the San Mateo County Office of Emergency Services. I started this position about a year ago, about halfway through the hazard mitigation development process, and I picked up after Battalion Chief, now Deputy Chief Pucci from Redwood City Fire. This has been a really important event that OES has sponsored through some grant funding and supported through this, through many cities, districts, and other groups within the community and the Emergency Managers Association. Bart is about to give you the update on where we're going, which will include who all's involved with the program, answer any questions about that, and also speak to you about the hazard mitigation maintenance plan, which is coming up, okay? So if it wasn't for Bart, quite frankly, and his efforts to make this all happen, I don't think this would have been quite successful. He was a program manager, did a really fine job, kept all the cats in order, and made sure that we did what we needed to do. So I'd like to introduce you Bart Spencer from the Central County Fire District.
Thank you. Good evening. About a year ago, we were here and talked to you about hazard mitigation. And so I'm back here tonight to let you know that every jurisdiction that participated in the program and in the plan has adopted the resolution. FEMA's adopted it, so we're good to go now. 29 agencies participated. We had looked at all the different things from in man-made hazards as well as natural occurring hazards. We've put those in a document that's about 1,000 pages long. And we're now in the 4th month of our maintenance process, and we will be hitting our target date, September 14th, 2017 is when we need to file the information back to FEMA. Very comprehensive document. We worked well. It was a good collaborative process. I appreciate Brad's comments, but this was really a lot of agencies that came together and put a lot of work into making sure that this plan worked well. We had a great contractor. As we move into the maintenance phase of this program, Tetra Tech, again, will be our contractor, and they will be managing the maintenance process that does also include some information requirements from the cities to give us how they're working on the action items that each city and jurisdiction identified. And at the end of the year, by September 14th, we do need to file with FEMA what our update is. This is a 5-year program, so in 5 years from now, we will be positioned in a good place to go through this process again. Hopefully, the next time it won't be as arduous. But I think a lot of agencies learned a lot. They looked at the things that could be beneficial to them. Just a little back information on this and why this is important is that a hazard mitigation plan is necessary to have in place if you want to apply for grant funding or if you want to do recovery dollars. And I know it was very important for us to get this plan approved in a timely manner because Pacifica and San Mateo County had applications in place. And so my compliments to all the people that worked very hard on this so that it could be done. And we started in January. We were finished in July. We submitted it. It went through the process, and by September 14th, quick turnaround, FEMA and Cal OES approved the plan. So with that, I'll take any questions.
Great. Seeing no questions, thank you very much, and thank you for the work. Oh, Mr. Greet.
My pleasure, yes. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Spencer. That moves us on to new business, and it's the George Berry Memorial Award. It's Mr. Mulver and Jeff Norris.
Before we get started, I just want to give a brief introduction about George Berry Award.
Okay.
George Berry Award was named for a former OES district coordinator who served as a Task Force 3 Urban Search and Rescue member who was involved in the coordination and planning unit. He worked in the Office of Emergency Services for over 10 years and moved OES from an old civil defense model to modern-day emergency management. He started with standardized emergency management system and serves as a role model for which we all try to emulate his selfless dedication to the world of emergency management and assisting the Peninsula in being prepared for critical incidents. This year we have 2 award winners, and with this I'd like to go ahead and turn it over to Brian Mulver.
Thank you, Lieutenant Fogarty. Good evening, Council Chair Campana and council members. My name is Brian Mulver, and I'm the district coordinator for the Central County area. I'm here to introduce Jim Hawley from the COSIDE. Jim, get ready for this? Are you ready? Jim is a longtime COSIDE resident and a dedicated volunteer. He has a history of serving the community during emergencies and disasters, and he gives generously of his time, expertise, training, and commitment to assisting first responders and emergency managers with compassion. He aids first responders and his community whenever, anytime, in a very terrific way. He's also a CERT member. He's a trained community emergency response team member, and he's also the president of the Half Moon Bay Aries Club, and that's the amateur radio group on the COSIDE. He's also a volunteer with the American Red Cross for their shelter operations. And so he's deeply involved at many levels of emergency management, and on the COSIDE especially. We thank him greatly for everything that he's done. And George Berry would be proud to give this to you, Jim.
So thank you very much. Nick Gattuso said, come to this meeting, and with no idea what it was, and I was asking people. But anyway, I'm very appreciative of this. I'm reminded that there's a lot of people involved in volunteering in their communities. How I got picked for this is beyond me. But anyway, I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, and thank you to you folks as well.
Good evening, Jeff Norris, and I'm the Southern District Coordinator. So it's my honor tonight to announce the Public Sector Award winner, which is Ken Anderson from the South San Francisco Fire Department. So Ken joined the South San Francisco Fire Department in 2005 as a member of the Fire Department's Basic Life Support Division. He was promoted to the BLS supervisor and began to take courses in emergency management at the National Fire Academy in Maryland. He became certified as a disaster preparedness manager and certified by the FEMA Basic Fundamentals of Emergency Management Certificate. Ken's in charge of the city's community emergency response team and has trained hundreds, many hundreds, of citizens in basic first aid, light search and rescue, damage assessment, as well as communications and city emergency operations. Ken implemented and manages the Teen CERT program, which is in the high schools. Both high schools in South San Francisco have this program, where essentially the entire CERT curriculum is extended on to the youth of the community, so a next generation of people who look out for their community. In 2014, Ken was promoted to the position of Emergency Services Manager for the city of South San Francisco. Ken has been deployed twice through the state of California Emergency Management Mutual Aid System to fires in both Lake County and in Monterey County. So that's quite an achievement. In September, Ken was honored with the, and I want to make sure I say this right, the Bud and Madeline Duggan Distinguished Service to Others Award for his contributions service to the people of South San Francisco in ensuring their preparedness. He's also received a emergency management instructor certification from Cal OES and the Governor's Office of Emergency Services. And on a personal note, he's a really fantastic person to get to work with.
All right.
So, Ken.
Thanks.
Well, thank you. I'm honored to receive this award. I'd like to thank my city where I grew up since I was 3, so many, many years ago. And I'm proud to be a member of the South San Francisco Fire Department. And I'd like to thank Chief Coleman for allowing me to do my job and do it well. So I appreciate the support that he gives. And then I'd like to thank all my other city managers, emergency managers out there that drive me to be the best that I can be. And the collaboration and competition between us is great. So that gets back to the cities as well. So thank you, and have a good evening. Happy New Year.
Great. We have another award at this time. It's the Silver Star Award, CEC. Lieutenant Fogarty.
Thank you very much, Supervisor. I have the great distinction of telling you that as a brand new OES director, it was one of my greatest honors to work with some of the people here in OES. One of them was someone by the name of Nick Gattuso, who is our Coastside District Coordinator, and I know Half Moon Bay knows very well. I want to say that at this point, we'd like to go ahead and recognize some of the actions that he did, as well as the city of Half Moon Bay and all the residents on the coast. The Coastside Emergency Corps is a volunteer organization made up of coastside residents trained to respond in case of major disasters. Those could be earthquakes, floods, tsunamis, or wildfires. The CEC was first organized by San Mateo County Office of Emergency Services, specifically spearheaded by OES Coastside District Coordinator Nick Gattuso and the residents of the city of Half Moon Bay and other residents of the coast. Volunteers can qualify to be members of CEC by being certified as either amateur ham radio operators, as you just heard, Community Emergency Response Team, CERT, by completing Red Cross shelter management training or belonging to a large animal rescue group, or being trained by the Coastside Emergency Operations Corps, or Operations Center. I'm proud to tell you at this point, the California Emergency Services Association awarded the CEC the Silver Star Award, which is the second highest honor that they have. In addition to that, they're recognized by FEMA as being best practices for a small organization. So I really want to highlight the city of Half Moon Bay and the cooperation of everyone who lives on the coast, as well as our district coordinator for the excellent work that they did.
Great. That brings us to, under new business, item 3, the JPA Form 700 Welcome Packet Staffing. Lieutenant Fogarty.
Thank you very much, Supervisor. So as I already alluded to, I am one of the several new staff members of OES. You'll be hearing some of them tonight. As the OES director, what we went through is sort of an evolution in OES as we sort of moved to try and get involved with some of the basic things that we need to get accomplished. And one of them is Form 700. So in case you don't know, we're required to get a Form 700 from all of you who serve on the board and to make sure that we have an actual record of that. The other thing that we need to do is I want to make sure we prepared a welcome package that I believe all of you received. And if you have not, please let me know. That consists of a welcome letter by me. It also lists several exercises that are planned during the course of the calendar year here in San Mateo County. I'd encourage all of you to participate or to show up and let us know what we can do to help facilitate that for you. So you actually see what all the emergency managers do in here in San Mateo County, as well as first responders. There's also a link to several other important items. One of them is obviously SMC Alert. Another one is our website that we're able to launch in the last 6 months, which is smcready.com. I'm happy to report that that was a group effort involving not just OES, but again, San Mateo County Emergency Managers Association. It's been a tremendous success where one of the first things we're able to do for this storm preparation was actually to list all the sandbag locations for every city on the peninsula. And again, I'd like to recommend smcready.com. The last thing for the welcome package is basically to let you know that we'll be keeping track of who it is who attends, so that way we can let our cities know and our partners know when they ask us questions about what information we're delivering. So I would like to say anything we can do to help facilitate you getting the information you need, so that when you get asked questions, we can give that to you. I've been more than happy to give to you, and I know that Kathy Pape also will be working for us as well. So I want to say welcome to all of you. If I have not spoken to you before, if there's anything I can do at any point, please feel free to reach out to me and let me know. Yes?
Form 700, for those of us who are returning, we did ours about 6-7 months ago. Do you want a fresh one?
We should be getting it every January, yes.
Every January, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And that's really important because we have 30 days, but please make sure on the Form 700 that's turned in. I just want to emphasize what Lieutenant Fogarty said about the SMC Alert, SMC Ready. That's really just an incredible tool for all of us to utilize. My office in particular, especially in the city of Daly City, I think we have a long way to go. I think Lieutenant Fogarty would agree in terms of increasing participation. So we're really beginning to see how we can support in those efforts. So I would just encourage you to use both those resources. Moving on to the next item, JPA audit, Ms. Deal.
Good evening. My name is Pam Deal, Finance Director, and I'm also joined by Narayan Nair. He is our Senior Financial Services Manager, and we're from the Fiscal Bureau of the Sheriff's Office, and we'll be providing a brief report out of the OES JPA Annual Financial Report for the year ending June 30, 2016. According to California Government Code, a Joint Powers Authority will ensure that independent financial audits are conducted annually. The purpose of the audit is to obtain reasonable assurance that the basic financial statements of the OES are free of material misstatement, are fairly presented in accordance with generally accepted accounting principles, and that adequate controls are in place. Fiscal year 15-16 is the first year that the OES JPA has prepared a standalone financial report. According to that report, all significant transactions were recognized in the proper period. There were no instances of non-compliance that require reporting under government auditing standards, and there were no disagreements in any financial accounting, reporting, or auditing matters during the course of the audit. The report did recommend implementing a new code which will have the effect of enabling greater ease in preparing future annual financials, and this change has been implemented. As a reminder, revenue supporting OES JP operations is provided mainly in the form of contributions from the county and member cities, as well as some federal aid. Operational costs of $2.3 million were primarily associated with personnel costs, hazardous materials response support, and regional communication system support. At the close of 15-16, fund balance totaled just over $566,000. As required, the audit report will be filed with both the state controller and county controllers, and as members of the OES JPA, a copy of this report will also be sent to your offices. Finally, I'd like to thank Kathy Pate, who worked very hard during the audit and provided a lot of assistance. Thank you, Kathy. That concludes my report, and Narayan and I are happy to address any questions you may have.
Great. Thank you, Ms. Deal. We're on now to the annual preparedness survey. Ms. Murty.
Good evening. My name is Stephanie Murty. I am the Supervising District Coordinator with OES. So, per the JPA, one of the requirements is for cities within San Mateo County to participate in an annual preparedness survey. The intention of the annual preparedness survey is to capture cities' current preparedness activities and subsequently provide information to OES on how to better assist with these efforts. Furthermore, the survey will better organize training needs and develop a strategic plan between OES and our EMA partners. To ensure that the survey accurately captures the variety of preparedness activities that cities engage in, OES and partners in EMA have been collaborating and will continue to collaborate through the month of February to develop a mutually agreed upon format. As of right now, the survey is a one-page document which will include common activities such as training, plans development, etc., and then include a blank portion for cities to self-report other activities they may be participating in that have not been captured by the aforementioned portion. As a last step in this annual process and also a requirement of the JPA, OES will be reporting the results of the annual preparedness survey at the next Emergency Service Council meeting in April.
Great.
Any questions?
Any questions? Well, we're looking forward to that report, Ms. Murty. Item number 6 under new business, exercises, train on the train derailment, support of city drills.
Good evening. I'm Steve Mahaley. I'm the district coordinator for the northern part of the county. I wanted to tell you about 3 exercises we've had recently. First was Train on the Train in South San Francisco. This was in conjunction with Caltrain, Samtrans, South City Police and Fire. We also had personnel from Brisbane, Milbrae, San Carlos Sheriff's Office, and San Francisco. This was a public safety response to a violent intruder on Caltrain. And we had 3 different scenarios that the officers went through. Over 100 participants went through the scenario. These were street officers from the different cities that rotated through there during the day. The actual patrol cops who would be out there, the ones who would be first on the scene if something like this really happened. So they assaulted the train and took care of the incident from the active shooter that was on board. We had a lot of volunteers as well who played victims on the train as well. And then about a month later, on November 17th, we had a train derailment in San Mateo, an exercise. This was part of the annual statewide hospital exercise. This year, thanks to the health department's suggestion, we had a field component of that. And we had a train derailment right there by the fairgrounds, just south of the fairgrounds, near the Hillsdale station. And mass casualty incident with many different agencies, EMS, AMR, fire, police, Public Works were there, the sheriff's office, coroner was even there. Victims were extracted from the train. Even some were even taken out through the upper level windows. We didn't just take them out the easy way. We took them out through the windows of some of them. A large triage area was set up to triage the patients. 5 patients were actually taken to San Mateo Medical Center. That was prearranged. We didn't take all the patients to the hospital, but 5 were actually taken to the hospital, and the hospital emergency room went through their process there. That was part of the statewide drill. Both of those exercises there were grant funded, that were ahead of a lot of payment there. The second one in San Mateo was actually a contractor who put that together for us. The last exercise on November 2nd was San Andreas Rumble, which was actually sponsored by the San Mateo County Emergency Managers Association, which is in here today. That was an EOC exercise that simulated an earthquake on San Andreas fault. And about 10 of the cities in the county participated. The county also participated as the op area EOC. It was strictly in the emergency operations centers. There was no field portion to that. But the community college district also participated. And that's the 3 big exercises we've had lately. We've got more in store this year. More earthquakes, as we say, more earthquakes and mayhem and disasters to come in simulated, and only simulated, we hope. There's been no floods lately. We've had a lot of rain lately, but no flooding, fortunately.
Great.
Any questions on the exercises?
Thank you very much. Are there any questions? Yes.
Yes, Daly City.
For the San Andreas Rumble, I wanted to note, what were the cities that participated, please?
There was 10. Did Daly City participate in that one? I don't think so, no. The Daly City was not one of them. Sorry about that. Okay, any other questions?
Mr. Green?
Instead of asking you a question just for all the agencies and for the cities, we have a lot of people with developmental disabilities in our county, so probably every one of our cities has it. I would really encourage both legislators and OES folks to reach out and include them in these drills, because their reactions to things can be different, and you may have issues that, being prepared for would be very helpful for everyone. And they can be a big help.
We do prepare those things with that. Human Service Agency also helps us with things like that when it comes to.
Oh, good. Great. Thank you.
Great, thank you very much. We're now on to the American Red Cross update. Go Fanai. Mr. Fanai here.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the council. Thank you for this opportunity to address you tonight. My name is Go Fanai, Disaster Program Manager of the American Red Cross. I'm here tonight to provide a brief snapshot of where we've been responding in partnership with the many partners that are in the room today since the last Emergency Services Council. So these are responses where we've helped residents in your local jurisdictions that have been displaced due to a home fire, a flood, or some other disaster event. Since October 1st, we've responded to 24 incidents, and of those 24 incidents, there have been 1 in Brisbane, 1 in Daly City, 3 in East Palo Alto, 1 in Foster City, 1 in La Honda, 1 in Menlo Park, 1 in Pacifica, 2 in Redwood City, 2 in San Bruno, 2 in San Mateo, and 5 in South San Francisco. In addition, with volunteers like Jim Hawley, who was honored here tonight. We have been supporting shelter operations in adjacent counties such as Santa Cruz, Santa Clara, and Sonoma during the recent rainstorms, as well as disaster events like the Ghost Ship fire in Oakland.
Great.
Any questions?
Are there any questions for Mr. Fenai, Ms. Pappen?
So what did the help consist of? People were displaced, what did you actually do for them?
Sure. For the Red Cross, we try to provide as consistent service as possible equally. So it does depend on the amount of damage to a particular household, but usually it consists of financial assistance. Of course, there is health and mental health services, and we'll work closely with the Office of Emergency Services, Human Services agencies, to make sure that they get back on their feet, that they have both temporary shelter and a long-term plan for getting back on their feet.
Ms. Schneider?
Milbrae is going to be working on upgrading our ability to respond to emergencies, both from city council member training, staff training. But with the loss of our community center, we had a question of where would our shelter be? I'm a former Red Cross disaster volunteer, and I honestly don't know what shelters, if we had to open one, would be close to us. I know we've got someone in the audience. I think our training is the 14th or 15th of February. Perhaps one of you or one of your volunteers could come and we can talk about shelter ops, making sure that we've got viable contracts and beds.
Absolutely. I'd be happy to. And we do have a Red Cross National Shelter System website that lists all of our potential shelter locations, including Milbrae.
Great. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Mr. Fenai. That brings us to the San Mateo County Emergency Managers Association. Mr. Eichner?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and council members. Real quick, so I'm Bill Eichner. I'm with the City of San Mateo, and I'm the president of the Emergency Managers Association. And if I could, I'd like to point out a couple of the members that are on the board. So we got Janelle Masterson. We also have Pat Halloran, and we also have Bart Spencer. So that's just a couple. We have two others that aren't here tonight, but currently we're the board, and we kind of direct and try to make some progress. And that's also what I want to talk about right now. So as the emergency service, I think it'd be fair to say few, if any, of the jurisdictions within San Mateo County have historically had the ability to staff an emergency operations center for any significant amount of time and work around the clock. So for us, we call that an operational period. It's usually 12 to 24 hours. I think San Bruno probably discovered that with your event that you had up there. It becomes quite a challenge. So together with, so while automatic and mutual aid plans exist, we have that for fire, we have that for police, and just the other year we started on mutual aid agreements with Public Works. But we have no such system for within the county to aid and support these EOC operations. So together with OES and the Emergency Managers Association, we've been working on a system and a plan to provide shared trained emergency management technical specialists to support disaster operations in any jurisdiction within the county. So we've methodically already garnered support from the City and County Engineers Association for San Mateo County, which is the Public Works Directors. We've spoken with and garnered the support for Fire Chiefs Association, Police Chiefs, Sheriff's Association, and we've also presented our plan to the city manager groups for local implementation. So what we'd like to do is at the next meeting in April, we'd like to provide you between now and then some more information on what this program is going to entail and ask for your support, and we can answer some more questions. So we hope to give you some more information and then go forward from there.
Great. Thank you very much, Mr. Eichner.
Thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, I don't see we have anyone lined up for public comments. Is that right, Mrs. Pape? So there's no public comment. There's no one here. Okay. That brings us to announcements. Ms. Schneider.
I'm not sure if this is the venue, but I'm happy to report that the Milbrae CERT program has received the Best of the Best award from the Milbrae Chamber of Commerce. The event will be held next week. That's another meeting. Anyway, Milbrae CERT, Best of the Best. So congratulations to all of our volunteers and to our Chief Coordinator, Dino Di Ranieri.
Great. Are there any other announcements? I just want to, I'm new to this board, but I want to recognize those members and tell me if I've omitted your name. I want to recognize Ian Bain for his continued service. Sue DeGree, I think, has been here, and Enrico Medina. Thank you for really doing this for the years that you've done. It really helps us. And so with that, can I get a motion to adjourn? All those in favor?
Aye.
Everyone have a good night. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hi, Deborah Penrose.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. I don't think I got a welcome card.
Okay.
Is that something that went out online or?
It did. It was about the email. Do you have an email address?
I do.
Okay.
Just send it in.